Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This video is created to be presented to Miss Nur Fatihah. So we are math boys. So for today, we are going to be explaining about chapter 4 and chapter 5 in syllabus MAT210. So now I'll be going to pass to HANOR MIZA to be explaining about chapter 4, relation and function as directed graph.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. So for this chapter, choose March 2016, question 4A. So if you look at the question, we have a function R, which is we have xy, and x minus y is greater than equal to 0, such as x and y is element of A. And for the relation on A, we have 5, 6, 7, and 8. So for the first question, I've been asked to list all of the element in R. So in R we got 8 7, 8 6, 8 5, 7 6, 7 5, and 6 5. So uh in order to get this answer, you need to use the function x minus y is greater than equal to 0. So x must be greater than y to get the output expected. So question 2, move on to question 2. You have to draw a directed graph based on relation R. So to draw a directed graph, each connected vertex must have an arrow. So for example, this the graph we have I draw it like this. So it's possible to get a different outcome, but for this question, I got this graph. So for 8, 7, 5, and 6 all have 3 degree from it. That's all from me. Yeah, I will pass to Muhammad Farhan Halim.
Assalamualaikum. The passing question that I choose is January 2018, question 4A. So based on the question, the given relation R is 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 2 3, 3 2, 2 2, 3 3, and lastly is 4 4. So the question is to draw directed graph that represent the relation of R. So the graph that I have drawn is shown there. So as we can see, the only vertex that not connected to another vertex is vertex 4, because as you can see, the arrow is come back to itself, because in the relation that has been given, there is no connection such as for 1, for 2, or for 3. So that's why it is uh, drawn like that. So move to the second question is, based on the graph, state the in degree and out degree of each vertex. Hence, show that the total in degree equal to total out degree. So for example, the vertex ones only have one in degree, because as we can see, there is only we have to, as you can see, there is only one arrow that come back to itself. So for the out degree is 3, because there is 3 arrow coming out from the vertex 1. For example, the first arrow is going to vertex 2, second arrow is going to vertex 3, and lastly is going to itself. So for the degree is 4, because the uh, for degree we have to total the in degree and out degree. So the answer is 4. Okay, that's all for me. So for the next question, uh, I and Anumiza will explain further. Okay, so for the question March 2016, question 4A. The relation given is G equal to 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 1, 4, 2, and lastly is 4, 3. So in this question, we also have to draw a directed graph for the relation G above. So the the graph is draw based on the relation given. Uh, just same like the another two graph above. So for the next, I pass to Hanumiza to explain further.
So the question 2 in March 2016, question 4. Based on the directed graph, state either G is a function or not. State the reason if the answer is no, and then find the degree of not for. So if you want to determine whether the graph is a function or not, so for each vertex, there must be exist one out degree at each vertex. So that's mean if a vertex, like let's take example at vertex 1, so you have one out degree and it reflect to itself, and it also have uh another degree which is going to 2, and there is another vertex 4 going to 1. So that's mean it have 4 degree. So that there is more than one. So the function is not exist. So the next question is ask us to find the degree of not 4. So look at not 4. So for the 4 and for the not 4, why the answer is 3, because there is only 3 degree, which is for the not 4, we have an arrow from 4 to 1, and 4 to 3, and lastly 4, 3. Let's say not 4 have another arrow which is reflect to itself, so it's count as 2 degree. And I mean yes, 2 degree, because there is exists example if it reflect itself, so exists in degree from 4 and also out degree to 4. So that's mean to it count as 2 degree. So that's all from us. Thank you.
So now I'll be going to be explaining chapter 5, arguments, logical implication and rule of inference. So I choose a past year question, September 2014, question 5C. So given question, if Ahmad takes a walk, then it is not raining. If it's not raining, then Siti will go shopping. Siti does not go to shopping, therefore, and there is no conclusion. So for the first question, write the primary proposition using the variable P, Q and R. So for P, I choose Ahmad takes a walk. For Q, I chose Siti go to shopping, and for R, I chose raining. Uh, it will have different outcome, but I chose this way. It is because easier for me to see the question clearly. So for number 2, write all the premises using the variable in I. So for premise 1, P is conjunction. P is implication to not R. For premise 2, not R, implication to Q. For premise 3, not Q. And for the conclusion, there is no conclusion yet to be found. So for question number 3, use the rule of inference to establish the validity of the argument. So firstly, we have to create a table. So there will be 3 columns, which is number column, an empty column and reason column. So for the number column, we will insert all the numbers. So for the empty column, we will fill it with all the premises, and for the last column, we must fill it with the reason. So for number 1 till 3, we will fill it with the premises given in the question number 2. So which is P implication not R and so on. So regarding the number 4, the reason we get P implication to Q is for the number 1 and 2 we use law of syllogism. So for number 5, the answer kept getting simpler is because we choose number 3 and number 4, and we combine it or use law inference, which is modus tollens, to get the not P answer. So the conclusion is Ahmad does not take a walk. So now I'll be going to pass to Akmal to explain the next question.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, for this question, for the next question is I took from past year, September 2013, question 5B. So the statement given from the question, if it doesn't rain, then I will drive to Taipei. If I drive to Taipei, then I can visit zoo. I do not visit zoo, therefore it rains. So for the first question, use the variable P, Q, and R to represent the primary statement given above. For P, I took the raining situation. For Q, I took the driving situation. And for R, I took the visiting zoo situation. The number 2, rewrite the argument in symbolic form. For premise 1, not P conditional Q. For premise 2, Q conditional R. For premise 3, not R. And the conclusion for the argument is P. So the number 3, use the rule of inference to prove the validity of the argument. So we recreate the table based on the NAZMAN SHAH, my fellow member, using this solution. So I'll use this solution as well. So for the first column, we'll put number. For the second column, we put the argument. So for the third column, we put the reason. So for number 1 is premise 1. Number 2 is premise 2. Number 3, premise 3. So to get the argument for number 4, we use law of syllogism on number 1 and number 2. And for the conclusion on number 5, we use modus tollens on number 3 and number 4. So we will move on to the next question.
So for the next question, we chose June 2018 question 5B. So the question is using rules of inference, find a valid conclusion for the following argument. So below is given the arguments. So we have to find the conclusion for the argument. So firstly, as usual, we have to create a table with 3 columns, which is number, an empty column, and a reason column. So for number 1 and number 4, we will fill all the arguments, and we will name the reason premise 1, premise 2, premise 3, and premise 4. Mal?
Okay, for the number 5, M conditional to Q. How we got the argument, this argument, we use the contrapositive for the argument number 4. So for the number 6, how we got R conditional Q, we use law of syllogism for argument 3 and argument 5. And for number 7, is not R. How we got the argument for not R, we use modus tollens on argument 6 and argument 2. And the conclusion for the argument, we use disjunctive syllogism on argument 1 and argument 8. So the conclusion is P.
So that is all from us. For the team member that is responsible for the creation of this video is myself, leader Nazman Shah bin Aslan, 2018-655-856.
So me myself, Muhammad HANOR MIZA bin BORHAN, 2018-697-662.
And I, Muhammad Farhan bin Halim, 2018-656904.
And lastly, myself, Muhammad Akmal bin Zahari, 2018-279454.